So again, this background to doing concerts, you have to do all this planning. And if you have a family with kids, you really have to plan a lot. I had so many babysitting problems all the time. Oh,
what did you do?
I always found people, but I had backups, or, you know, sometimes
I mean, Brian did some because...
Only when he got older, but I usually had families that...
Because you would be off to your concert or whatever, and he would make us dinner or whatever, and he would like burn the toast and burn the eggs and stuff, and he'd say, well, I guess you don't have to eat that, and he'd sit there and be scraping this stuff off.
When Patrick and Ellen were small, they're twins, they were maybe a year old. I had a lady that came to the house.
This is Robitaille?
No, she was younger, a big heavy-set lady, but she was maybe in her 20s or something. I don't know if she was in between teaching or jobs or something. Well, anyway, one day I decided it was time for them to learn how to eat by themselves in the morning. So I gave, you know, they're sitting in their high chairs with some cereal. It seemed like it was oatmeal or something. And she came, and I said, I gotta go. And they're, you know, with their hands, I guess, eating everything. Anyway, she quit the next day because she just didn't want that. I don't know what they did. But, and then I had, you know, I found somebody, I don't know, there was a woman.
Did they come to the house, or did you have to take them?
She was about the only one that did. I think some of the, like Miss Robitaille, some of those, I used to go get them and bring them. That's when they were really small, though, when you couldn't take them out.
Did you take me there, too? Because didn't I go someplace when you were always rehearsing and stuff?
You went somewhere. Right now.
Who were the two ladies? Was that Mrs. Robitaille?
I didn't think.
Who were those two ladies?
Well, that's Mrs. Robitaille. Were they still around then?
I remember them.
Okay, you must. House. All right, then I probably took you as you were older.
You said that's where I got to learn about soap operas.
Oh, that was in else? Yeah, that was in Chateauguay. That was a woman.
No, this is when we were in Quebec.
No,
in Chateauguay, I was too young.
This is when I was doing teaching or something. That's where you learned about soap operas.
Ma, I would have been like a year old.
You were a couple years old. Anyway, all right. So
okay, so I was advanced for my age.
Yeah, you were advanced. Yeah, but I had. I usually took the twins out. Brian was always a little older. I'm trying to think what I did. There was always we lived in apartments usually, and I could always find a woman, somebody at home that would take him. It was in the beginning it was a wife of one of the orchestra members, so that worked out fine for Brian for several years there. And then I got the Robitailles, but I took him over to their house on the way to the orchestra's rehearsals and concerts, and then he'd be asleep and I have to bring him home.
Okay, so what happens when you're pregnant?
I played all the time. I played, my gosh, I was pregnant with the twins. I played like a solo out in Jackson, you know, I mean up there in the, and I had either didn't have a wedding ring on or had it in my other hand or something, and some woman in the audience says, that poor woman, that poor girl, she's pregnant.
That's pretty funny.
And then when I got...
Yeah, because which ring? You can't have rings on.
I never wore anything on my left hand. I never did. Some people do, and I never wore a watch or anything. You don't need anything, really. But as I got really pregnant with them, I remember we played an opera. So we were in an opera rehearsal. This was opera concert. No, this was in Quebec. And I always wore high heels, even then.
Even when you were pregnant?
Yeah.
Did your ankles swell up?
This is what happened. So during the concert, during playing in the pit, it was cold out. I took my shoes off and I couldn't get them back on. And it was cold and snowy out, and I had to walk to the car in my stocking feet, which was, God knows, there's nothing I could do. I could not get my shoes on. And who knows?
So you never did that again?
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you have boots or something? Well,
whatever it was, it seemed to me it was shoes, though. But my feet swelled
You
up.
had high heels?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
You
but
just
in
wear
Quebec,
high
you know,
heels.
when there's 1,000,000 feet of snow, did you
Yeah.
not wear boots?
I probably did to the rehearsals or to the concerts, but you don't wear them on stage.
I know, but I'm saying
Well,
that you would
even
have that
then-
you could put them on
Well,
afterwards.
it didn't happen that way.
All right, fine.
And another time, I remember that snow was so bad. I'm nervous. Snow.
Oh, you're
I'm
just
not.
like
I'm
me,
just.
we all talk about
yeah.
this.
I talk about that. The idea that you have to go to rehearsals. Okay, so this was when your dad wasn't living there, and there was this big snowstorm, and I guess Brian took a bus to school or walked somewhere. Patrick and Ellen were probably 4 or 3 or 4.
Was that
And
around?
I had well, I guess it was when they were smaller. You weren't yet. And I had a nice lady whose husband, I think, was also in the Navy, of the Canadian Navy, and they lived about 2 or 3 blocks away.
The Grays?
No, this was
Okay.
another family. It's before the Grays. That's where you used to go. So I couldn't get the car out of the parking lot. There was no way. And I knew there was a bus a few blocks away. I couldn't get to the bus. I had to take them to the babysitters. So I put them both in a sled and pulled them, and holding my viola in my arms over these snow drifts. Because, you know,
Okay,
there were
this
huge snow drifts. About 2 blocks to get to their apartment, where I could leave the kids and then walk down, get the bus. I got to the rehearsal, but it was half over by then. But I had to get to that rehearsal. I couldn't not go to the rehearsal. I'll never forget that. That was really desperate
Over
time.
the hills,
Oh,
through the woods,
gee, with those little kids. Oh, my
dragging
God.
a sled.
A sled with the
Holding your
2
viola?
twins on, holding my viola in the other. I don't know how they ever sat on the sled, but they did.
Well,
Going
I see where I
over
get
these.
my energy from when you're going.
Oh boy, that was bad.
See, and you worry about us. I mean, you don't need to worry about us because
I guess not. You got through it.
Got
I
through
got through it too somehow. But it's like you have to get to that rehearsal, no matter what. You know, you go to those rehearsals, and
Well, I never missed anything,
so,
even when
yeah.
I've missed one. Okay, one. The whole time of my professional singing career,
yeah.
I missed one thing.
When
I was really sick with my colitis, and we were
okay.
going to Paris in 3 days.
Oh, okay, that's right. And you canceled. Yes.
I canceled one concert.
Yeah.
That was the only time I ever did. But I've been sick with my UC, and I've been sick, you know, just having the stomach flu and stuff, and I've still performed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do your thing.
You do your
job.
thing, and you try not to take too much medicine because you're not alert then. You know, an aspirin, all right, but cough drop, something like that.
Well, I wouldn't take any of that stuff. That
No,
affects your
but-
vocal cords.
Right, I know,
That's
but
what I'm saying. You
I have
gotta
done something like
hydrate
that.
yourself, and if you keep to keep healthy so that you can maintain your racehorse body, physical being, you need to exercise so that you build your stamina. Because like for my shows, if I don't exercise, would be in huge trouble because. You know, those are solo concerts. I'm doing a lot
you're
of
moving,
energy.
yes, around a lot.
So I have to work out and I have to eat foods that are good and healthy. I do not eat any junk food whatsoever. I do not go to Mac and D's or Burger King or anything like that. I don't eat any of that junk because that stuff is extremely unhealthy and it pulls nutrients away from your body. And you can't afford that. Because if you get sick, then you're in big trouble. And this leads to, like I wrote in my book, you know, if you are sick and then you do a bad performance and it's like you start giving yourself a bad name,
Yes.
then you're in trouble.
Yes.
And as a professional, you know, that's your whole thing.
It's really
You know-
too bad that this is not taught to any young people, whether they're going to, I mean, everybody aspires to be a professional when especially if you're in your college. Everybody aspires that you're going to be out there and get the job. But nobody talks about how to take care of your body